In this video, we will see how we can integrate MongoDB and fetch that data inside our app. So in the last video, we were working with some mock data with mock API, but in this video, we will be looking at how we can fetch data from the free cluster. If you don't already have a free MongoDB cluster, I suggest you create it. It is extremely easy. Just do a Google search. Let me create a .environment variable file and let me paste my DB value inside this. You can get this after creating a MongoDB database. And let me add the .env file to the gitignore file as well. And inside the lib folder which I just created, let me create a file called connectdb.js. We will rename this file later, and I will write const connectdb is equal to async, and here I will use a try catch block to initialize the database connection. So I will say await mongoose, so mongoose dot connect. Make sure you import mongoose. As you can see in the terminal below, you can install mongoose with npm i mongoose at 8.0.0, or you don't have to specify the version. You can use whatever version you want. And in the catch block, we can just console log the error, and we can say throw new error. Okay, and we have to initialize it. Let's export this method because we want to use this in the other file. And let's see what we have to do here. Wait, mongoose.connect process.env.mongo, and before that we have to see if a connection is already there. So const connection is equal to empty object, and once the connection is established, we have to populate that connection object, because we don't want to initialize the connection every time we are making a request to the database, right? Because that will be a wastage of resources. So we can say if connection dot is connected, let's console log this. Connection already exists, and we will return it. And if connection is not there, we will say const db connection is equal to await mongoose.connect and that your database URL, and connection dot is connected will be equal to db connection, which is what we get, dot connections of 0 dot ready state. Pretty straightforward stuff. And here we will create a models.js file, and models.js we will import mongoose from mongoose. So here we are basically creating the schema for our MongoDB database. Okay, so we will maybe have a posts and we will have a users for now, because we want to fetch the data for the blog page. So here for users, let's create a schema and let's create some parameters for the users. Okay, so user schema is like the structure of the schema. So it will have username, which will be of type string, and we will say required is true, and we want the username to be unique because no two users can have the same username. We will say minimum of 3 characters and maximum of 20 characters. This all you can this is up to you. You can do whatever you want with that. And each user should have an email, and it will have a type of string. The required is true, and we can say maximum value or something like that. And email should also be unique. Okay, and here for password we can say the maximum or minimum should be 6, type string, required true. And after password we have img image. So image may not always be necessary, because when you write a blog there will not be an image always, right? So we'll give it a type of string, and isadmin Is flag will give type boolean and default value of false. Okay, and below that we'll say timestamps true. So this will be our user schema. Okay, and right now we have to create a schema for the posts that we'll be fetching in our blog page as well as the blog details page. So we can copy paste the schema and just rename the schema variables. That's exactly what we are going to do. So copy paste, and we will rename it to post schema. Okay, and post will have some variables, some attributes like maybe title, description, maybe it will also have image, it may have the slug because we want to fetch the details using the slug, and it will also have ID. Okay, so DESE we can just edit some of the schema variables, image, type string, minimum 6. Okay, here we will say user ID. We want to populate the posts against a particular user ID, and we will say slug. I think the type of slug should be string. Anyway, let's see. You will say required true and unique true. Slug is can think of it as like the primary key. I mean, if you're thinking in terms of SQL, the analogy is that slug will be the primary key. It is the primary identifier to the table, or to the table. And here for the post schema, the user ID will be the foreign key, because that particular key is used to fetch data from the other schema. Okay, that is a relational basic principle of relational databases: primary key and foreign key. So we will say export const user is equal to mongoose.models.user or mongoose.model. If it doesn't exist, we will say user schema, and same we will write for post schema as well. Let me paste it down here, and post, and here also I have to make it post, and here I can say post schema. Okay, here I have to make it post. Okay, I avoided a huge error. Okay, now we want to write some code to fetch data. Let's see how we can do that. So in the data.js file in lib, let's write a method called const getPost and initialize a try catch block. So in the try catch, let's say in the error section, we will console log the error, and we will throw new error. And here const post equal to, let's see, await fetch. So we don't want to fetch, right? We want to await post, and we will import post from models post.find. So what this find does is, okay, this error will be removed by adding the async keyword. So posts will be fetched by using the find method. Okay, so this will return all the posts in the post schema. All the records in the post schema will be fetched by the find method. Okay, this is a very easy way to fetch all the details of this schema. And before that, we will say connect to DB. That is checking the connection, right? So it's a very important way. So we are not connecting to the database every time, uh, because previously we have written the code that if the connection exists, we don't want to initialize new connection, we will use the existing connection. We will make a new connection only if the connection does not exist. So I copy pasted that particular block of code to fetch get post, and that is for fetching a single post as well as get user to fetch a single user. Okay, this is pretty straightforward and very easy. So this way we can fetch all the posts in the blog details and go inside but a single blog and fetch the user also. We will not be fetching the user in this video because I need to see how the data is coming for user, but let's see if the blog is working. And here we will have get users, and here we can see accounts users is await user.find and return users. So inside the blog directory in page.js, that is blog list page, we have been using the mock API. Okay, so mock API we will not be using anymore. And go back to MongoDB, and in the post schema we have already created some mock data. In the user schema, similarly, let's create username, John Doe, email, give whatever email you want. So this is basically some data that we already have, but right now I am just showing it to you because before we have not implemented the add blog feature yet. So before that we want some data to fetch and show it, right? So insert document, here we are just filling out some attributes, whatever we want in the blog details. So is admin false, let's give it, insert the document, let's create one more, let's clone this, and you can give it some test data like this. This will also be test, and insert, and insert this, just edit this, and insert. Okay, so now we have the data. I think we have to make some slight adjustments. Let's remove this get data method in blog, and let's rename this to get posts, and everything should work fine. And I made this a string and added the DB name to the database connection string, and as you can see we are able to fetch the blog. Yep, it's working. You can see it took a time because it was the first network request. Subsequent requests will be cached by Next.js. And here you can see that we are able to, so here this one does not have image, and inside this you can see the blog details. So that is all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Peace, take care, and goodbye.